there and I have to do something, I couldn't do it.
So I give you a lot of credit. So I've been training since I was 15 years old. And I say training, I've never competed in anything.
Yeah.
But my fear of failure is the reason I never competed in anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was too afraid to go up there and embarrass myself.
Mm-hmm.
That and largely that's a big reason I didn't play a lot of sports growing up. I played baseball, but to me baseball was safe.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of physicality. I was smaller growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to avoid things that were physical in nature, but on the weekends, me and my brother, the neighborhood kids, we'd all go play pickup football games, tackle, and I would shine there. And that's when everyone used to tell me, you should play this, you should play that. And then trying to do more than I could pitching in baseball, I tore my rotator cuff. First time, partially healed. Second time, gone. January 1997, I had my rotator cuff repaired.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that. But it was literally fear that kept me from doing all that. And that's something I've never said out loud.
No, and listen, you're not alone.
It sucks.
Fear, well, first of all, it does suck, and you can add a couple more words to that.
Yeah.
But fear is what holds most people back.
Yeah.
It holds people back from asking a girl to dance, or from going to get another job, or going out for the captainship, be a captain, or whatever it might be. And the one time you get past that initial, I could do this, I could do this, and you go to the next step and you ask the girl to dance and you go for the job or whatever it might be, all of a sudden your confidence level goes up just a tad.
I'm glad you brought that up. So for you, was it that entrance into the gym? Like when you figured out, like the book, and I have the writer of the book written down here, that first book, you put the picture in here.
Yeah.
Is that where you kind of shifted? Is that where your psychologically, so your psychology, so to speak, changed a little bit?
In the gym, it was the only place where I could be myself. But as you talked about on the weekends, you played a physical sport. In the gym, when I used to lift heavy weights, and one of the reasons I lifted heavy weights is I didn't know this at the time, but when you're trying to bench 400 pounds or whatever it is, I don't want to sound like that guy.
Yeah.
When you're benching 400 pounds, there's very little you can think of. There's very little you can think of other than moving that weight.
Oh yeah.
So
You have
okay,
to.
so so that taught me, and I didn't know this at the time, but it taught me to live in the ever present. Even when it was 4 or 5 or 8 seconds, it taught me to live in the ever present. And little by little, that's what I called intense focus training, which is essentially living in that moment for that 5-7 seconds. Add 10 more sets, and add those seconds up, and believe it or not, geez, let me tell you something. I can live in the ever present for that amount of time. Okay, let's go to the next level. But no, the gym is not what, I will be honest with you, it's not what made me get over or manage my anxiety. It did help it, but it's not what made me get over my anxiety. If you want to know what helped me get over my anxiety, it was, I was 36, 37 years old, and there was an infomercial on. And it was a infomercial for the Midwest Center for Anxiety and Panic. Linda Bissett was running it. And I woke up, I was on the floor, because my wife was a flight attendant, and she used to travel. And I used to sleep on the floor in my tighty whities, with my keys on my pinky and my clothes by the door in our condo. Because if I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning,
You always knew where the emergency rooms were.
I'd go to the hospital. I'd sleep in the parking lot. And always. And nobody ever knew that. How do you tell somebody that?
No, because the judgments that would be passed on you and the way people view you, if customers knew that about you.
Customers, family. I mean, at this time I was working for my dad, and I don't want anybody. And by the way, we were all cool. I was bouncing, and how am I going to show weakness? So that's when I realized, and I'm working backwards because there's a lot prior to that. That's when I realized, oh my God, this thing had a name. Anxiety and panic? That's what it's called, agoraphobia. So I was at the height. There was no other place to go. And I was at the height when I finally realized what it was called. But at that time I was 37, so I had 20-something years of dealing with this beast, this crap. Thinking you're going crazy, thinking you're going insane. Thinking you don't want to kill yourself. Never thought of suicidal thoughts. But it entered my mind, am I going to end up in an insane
Is this
asylum?
going to progress? Is this going to get worse?
Sure.